Okay, so what is an array? So arrays are storage elements so which are used to save same type of data, right, in one single variable, right? So let's see a simple use case, and we'll see how arrays is better than the approach we normally take when we try to create more variables, right? So for example, let's say we are actually providing a software to school, right? And school management actually upgraded that. Okay, initially there will be only, let's say, 5 students. I'm just taking an example here, right? So, and they want us to create a simple software which can say student, let's say student IDs. It is simple software. So let's say, so what we will do, let's say we'll create something called int s1 is equal to so and so. Let's say maybe it starts from 100, for example. Let's say similarly, int s2 we'll create as 101, right, and so on, and let's say we'll create s5. Right. Now these are the 5 variables we normally create. And it will save the student ID. So for example, again management will come back after, before even completing his academic year. It says no, actually we thought of 5, but almost 80 students got joined. So please make sure that students IDs which are getting upgraded, right, should not be less than 80. Then if you try with the same approach of creating variables, right, you have to create again some almost 80. Right, now this is something which will actually make the situation very complex. Tomorrow, let's say after 3 to 4 years, let's say he'll come back and say, in my school there are 500 students, and coming year he'll say he'll have 1,000 students target this year. Right? Now this software is not going to be useful at that moment. Right? So here we can see one situation that whatever variable we are creating, the variable is of same type, right? And the data which we are saving is also the same type of data which we are saving. Simple. Which is after. In these situations, instead of actually going ahead and creating hundreds of variables, we can create one just variable and make it array type, right? And array which can save more than one element or one value within a same variable. Now that's an array concept. So how to create array? So let's say if you want to create integer, that you have integer square braces. So when you mention square braces, right, this is the convention of defining, okay, we are creating a integer array. So let's say I'm going to take variable as is equal to new. So we are going to instantiate this array. Now why do you need to instantiate? Because for an array you have to provide the size of an array. So what we can do, we can say integer of, for example, let's say I'm going to take 1,000. So what does it mean? Now what variable s can save 1,000 different integer values in it, right? Now you can see, now here you can see there are, when management asks for 1,000, maybe you thought of actually creating 1,000 integers. Each integer is of 4 bytes, right? 4 bytes. Now definitely when you want 1,000, now definitely end of the day, if you actually sum up all the integer values, right, it will come to 4,000 bytes for sure. Now the same size is here. Now we have integer of size 1,000, which means each slot in this array is again 4 bytes, which means in each slot of an array you can create a complete number type of 4 bytes, right? So end of the day you get 4,000 bytes of size given. This is something which is right comparatively with this approach. This is the best way to actually create approach, right? Create an approach so that it will be useful, right? So now here, let's understand more about internals of array. That's important because arrays definitely, if you know C++, right, you have actually aware of at least the core idea, but let's understand the deeper way so that the same concept will be useful even when we are learning our collections. Right? So let me open up a PPT. I'll just show you a simple pattern of internal arrangement of arrays. So here, now when we define any simple variable int s1 is equal to 121, for example, what it will do internally is it will create a separate memory slot for us in a heap, right? And this is a storage element, a storage block for S1. So the representation of this element is given to S1 and the value stored inside this is 1. Tomorrow, if I change the value of S1 to S1 is equal to, let's say, 10. Now this old value will be erased, the new value 10 will be created. That's all it is. Fine. Now here, you can see this is how the data elements are saved when you actually go with the singular. Now let's understand how the array is saved. Let's say if I say int array of size, let's say 4. For example, I'm taking 4 size. Now what it will do, it will create a 4 slot. I mean, this is one slot, let's say. In this way, it will actually create 4 different slots for us. So there you have 1, 2, 3, 4. Now each slot is represented by index. Index 0, index 1, 2, and the index always starts with 0, goes on. Now there are 4 different slots. Now this is represented by one single variable called S. That's what we have defined. S is in single variable which is allocated for this complete array. Right? So let's say now there are 4. The array size is 4, which means I can actually store 4 different integer numbers in it. So each of 4 bytes. You can see there is a 4 byte one, 4 byte one, 4 byte 4, which means it will come to 16 bytes. Even if you store or not, this array will be allocated with 16 bytes of data in heap, right? And now you can see, as you know, index 0, 1, 2, 3, right? And you know the variable s. Now when I say s, it is the format, same format we get it, which is int array s is equal to new your int array of, let's say, 3 or 4, kind of. Now I'm talking about this s, right? Which is actually giving you a slot and giving you an option to add data. Fine. Now here, now if you want to feed data or load data, now here I can see, so 0th element I have, which means I can say s square bracket 0. This is my first element I'm going to store. Is equal to, let's say, I'm going to take some 17, for example. The 17 will be saved here. Similarly, s of 1. 1 is the second element, let's say, right? 30, maybe 6 will be saved here. Right? Similarly, s of 2. Right? Let's say here you have some 40, some 48 will be saved. Similarly, you have your first slot. Let's say 125. This is how you normally save data. And for retrieval data, again, we have to go to the index form. This is how we normally do. Now here, let's say tomorrow, if management is coming and saying I want 1,000, just change the size of this array. Let's say if it is 1,000, maybe we'll take, let's say, 100 buffer and we'll create it for 1100. That's it. There is no big maintenance which we have to do, right? And if we are reading this array, right, reading array is again the same form. Right? Now the size of array, this is important, these two terms. Size of array is 16 bytes and the length of array is 4. Okay, so when you say length, it comes to how many data elements we can save in this array. So let's see it in our program. So here let me create a new class. Let me just remove the static. Right click and say close all documents and let me create. Right click on this and say add. Add a class. Right. So in this, let's say let me take class name as arrays class, for example. Right. So in this, I'm going to create a static void name of string array a open close bracket. Right. So here, what I'm going to do, I'll say console.readline. Now, so integer. So you can take any data type. It's not just integer. You can take any data type. Integer. Let's say s is equal to new integer array of, let's say 3. 3 is the size of the array. Now this is how we normally create a. And then in order to assign, we take s of 0 is equal to 17, which I've thought of, and again s of 1 as 109. Similarly, s of 2 as something 34. And these are the values which got stored into. Fine. So these are the values. Now here, if you want to retrieve anyone, let's say I'm going to say right line, I want the second element or second value of this array. How can I get? I can say s of. Now when you say second, which means it will be in the first place, right? S of 1. That's it. And let's see 1 0. So let me run this program. And you can see 9. Simple as that. Right? So this is how arrays are created. And integration of arrays can be done in other ways, that if you have any array, let's say I can take any array, let's say, I'm not saying for example, right? Let's say h I'm taking. So I can then take a class bracket and I can mention multiple values. Let's say hello, and let's say I'm going to take, for example, apple, for example, I have dot. Right? So these are the elements which we add. Now, yes, you can actually do this. So with this, what will happen? Now, these values are automatically created for this array, which means when you give it in class brackets, it will automatically size this. What is the size of these elements? You can see there are 3 different strings you have provided, which means this array will be declared with 3 size, and each 0, 1, and 2, each value or each word or each string will be allocated automatically to the array. Fine. Now this is how it is actually allocated, right? And as soon as the data allocation is done, that's it. It will be ready for. Right. Now this is how we normally work with arrays to assign and retrieve the. So that is about arrays here, right? So the next topic which we have is, which is very important topic we're going to see, is our control statements. Right? Now let's understand what are control statements. So in control statements we have two different subdivisions. One, conditional statements, and then we have looping statements. Right? So now whenever we create any program, right? Now till now we know that everything is sequential and every statement will be executed. Till now I'm saying till now whatever we have learned everything as part of a sequential execution, right? Now there will be a situation where you may want to actually skip some statement execution, and sometimes you may require to run the same statement or same set of statements multiple times, right? So that can be achieved using the control statements. So the conditional statements, which is used to check for a condition and decide on which statement to run. So we have two conditional statements here: if and else, and then you have switch. And then you have looping, where if you want to reiterate the same piece of code multiple times based on the iteration you are giving, then you go for looping. So in looping we have for loop, right? And also we have one advanced called for each, basically designed for collections. You have while loop, you have do while loop. These are the tools you have. Anyways, you're gonna see infinite loops creation with each. Right? These are the control statements you have, which is a condition statement, if else, switch, and the looping statements you have here for each, right? While and do while. Right? So these are the statements. These are the condition. So now let's start with the first one, which is condition statements. Right? So here when we say condition statement, right? Now it is if else. Now here it decides on which statement to run, right? At some point, and which statement to skip. Right?